Hey guys, Marcus from Investing Embers back again, middle of January 2022. It's a wild ride right now with cryptocurrency. I got a jam-packed video, CEO of Yieldnodes with a response. I've actually interviewed an auditor from their October audit in Malta. Crazy stuff going on in this video. So, hey, I hope you're looking forward to it. A lot to cover, and I apologize for the length of the video, but I think it's valuable to anybody. Just FYI, if you're new to Yieldnodes, it has historically made over 10% per month in profits monthly. That's monthly, by the way. I have videos that explain the entire process of how to fund your account all the way from your bank account through Coinbase to Yieldnodes. So I've got a link for that. Also, the process of withdrawal. What good is it if you can't withdraw the money and use it, right? So I have a withdrawal video that walks you through the entire process of how to get your money out. If you got any questions or thoughts, post them in the comments below. Let's get started with my mid-month review and we'll go from there. All right, so hey, I'm already in the Yieldnodes dashboard and we are taking a look here. So week one profit, 1.7%. Week two profit, 1.9%. So we're just under the halfway mark in the month and we're looking at, almost 4% profit for the month. Again, insane return. I don't think you can see these types of numbers in other financial sectors. The crypto world is just a different beast. And we're looking at almost 4%. Halfway through the month. Could we hit 10% this month? Hey, I don't know. You can see that there was 7.5% in December, which was fantastic. It was a great way to end the year. If you check my last video, I did a full year in review that talks about how you could have generated 225% return as far as profits for the year if you'd invested in Yieldnodes at the beginning of last year. So I would suggest, hey, take an opportunity here to do something this year for yourself. If it's Yieldnodes, cool. If it's something else, invest in yourself, right? But at any rate, hey, these numbers are fantastic. I'm excited for what the rest of January is going to hold for Yieldnodes. All right, so the next thing I wanted to jump into here was some information online specifically about the CEO of Yieldnodes. And his name is Stefan, also known as Stefan. So basically there were some comments made that he was involved in a project prior to Yieldnodes that was a scam. And this was alarming to me because obviously I'm invested in Yieldnodes and, I have been involved in scams in the past where I had invested my money. And so I am very apprehensive, very cautious. I've done my research with Yieldnodes, so this was a little bit of a shocker to me. So, I think it's easy to put information out there about someone just by looking at some websites and things. It's harder to actually do some investigative journalism. And that's what I set out to do when I created this video. I connected with Steve. It's been a while back. My business is not in the crypto space, but it is in the digital space. And so we had connected a while back and I don't hardly ever bother him at all. I don't want to waste his time. I know he's a very busy person. But I asked him if he wanted to respond on those comments because I wanted to know, and I thought it'd be valuable for other folks that are invested in Yieldnodes to know what his thoughts were on that. So what I wanted to do was read his response. I'll share it with you and you can follow along. So the system he was talking about or that was being spoken of was called FAP Turbo. And it was mentioned that it may have been a scam. He may have been involved in that scam. His response was, FAP Turbo has been a premium FX robot many, many years ago. It actually dates back to 2008, 14 years ago, and was considered, especially at the beginning, one of the best Forex robots on the market. It was also blocked back then by a lot of direct desk Forex sites that made money by betting against the client, paved the way for ECN brokers that didn't manipulate price feeds. It was extremely well rated and through its life cycle received over 57 free updates for members. It didn't age well, and there has been no activity on the sales page since over 6 years. Also, it's not funds managing. It was a product that was sold for $149 US with full refund offers, not even set by US, but by clickbait that then go to Premier Digital Sales Place. Everyone who didn't like it could ask for it and receive, he's talking about a refund, within 60 days, and that still applies today. Granted, it didn't age well, and the boasty claims on the website are a statement of changing times when you were to make the wildest claims in order to sell, a typical sales letter of the 2000s written by a hired sales letter writer. It's pre-GDPR and pre-marketing rules, so it's more a testament to growth and changing times, but calling it a scam and me a scammer is really far-fetched. Actually, a lot of my business relationships that help shape Yieldnodes come from those times. A few of the biggest participants of Yieldnodes are old Fat Turbo users that understood times changed and valued the effort we put back then in the project. Taking this project that actually shaped my entrepreneurial journey and looking back 14 years is quite a cheap shot. It's like going to the 70s and commenting on a bad haircut. I think that's pretty funny. So pretty interesting. That's his response. I just wanted to put it out there. I'm trying to be very objective with my information. Yes, I'm invested in Yieldnodes, but at the same time, I don't want to be biased. I want to put the information out there. Maybe I am a little biased, but that said, I still wanted it to be out there for you guys to hear Steve's response. There was also a comment made that Steve listed himself as Steve C on the website, and now it's Steve H, and that this, did he have a name change? People are looking for anything, and I get it. I totally do, and I want to know those answers too. So he actually responded on that one, and he said it stood for Stefan Kristen, which is his second name, or his email, which was Steve the Cat Cooper. It was 14 years ago. It was cool, and we used to have pen names. Or it says Christian. Stefan Christian is my second name. Back then it was show your full name and stay behind your product, was create an alias, and I felt it was good to bring myself a bit in there. So, hopefully that answers that question as well. If you've got any other questions, I can't guarantee I'm going to get answers. I certainly don't want to bug this guy. I think this kind of helps speak to some of the thoughts out there, the negativity. So, hopefully this is helpful for folks. All right, so next up, I wanted to talk about an audit that was performed for Yieldnodes back in October. I haven't addressed this in a video because I kind of wanted to spend some time looking it over, and I actually wanted to try to talk to one of the auditors. Again, I like to get my information online, but when I can, I really want to hit something head on. And this was very important to me to speak directly with at least one of these auditors to get the real deal experience on it. So let me start by walking through this audit. So I've shared my screen here. This occurred again at the end of October in Malta. And I'm not going to read everything here. If you create a free Yieldnodes account, you can go in and view this under audits. It's right here. You simply go to audits, and then here's their October audit. And so it just talks about that, they're not regulated. So this is the next best thing by bringing in folks. And so what they did was they had people that wanted to visit the place that are invested in Yieldnodes come in. And so they received about 50 applications from potential auditors, and then they used a randomizer to select the winners. And again, you can read about this whole process. And then they've got the auditors that ended up coming out there. So it was this Angela Seaman, Liam Inwood, Josh Peach, Jürgen Bappert, and I think there was one more named Ian Muirhead. So I reached out to these folks, and I actually was able to reach Mr. Liam Inwood. And I really want to say thanks again, Liam, for you taking the time, because this is exactly what we as investors want to hear. We want to hear from folks that have had an opportunity that we did not, to talk to the people that are using our money to generate profits. And obviously, in this world, there's a lot of speculation and concern over where our finances are. So I want to present this interview with Liam, and just take a listen. Hey, Liam, thanks so much for joining us on this call. And man, I that's the first thing I want to say is thanks for taking the time. I mean, you're one of 5 folks that actually got to go on this audit to Malta. Is that where you guys went?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, first of all, thanks for having us. More than happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
I was one of the 5 who was lucky enough to go out. Felt quite privileged to have that chance. We'll definitely be going back again as well.
Nice. Yeah, I'd love to visit Malta.
No, the place is beautiful. It's lovely. But just the whole Yieldnodes team, really helpful, really good with answering questions. If anything, too good. I mean, a simple question ended up with talking about it for an hour, because they're really keen to give you every bit of information you want, which I found really reassuring.
So I just want to ask, how did you get into Yieldnodes to start with? When did you get in?
It was through a trading group that I'm a member of, or like a trading and crypto group I'm a member of in the UK. And it was brought to our attention in there. A couple of people were interested in it. This was probably coming up for a year ago. We all looked into it individually, as we always do, all come back and spoke to one another about it. Seemed pretty legit, but we wasn't 100%. So we all sort of started off small, started with the minimum deposit. And then in the meantime, we all spent a lot of time looking into it, finding as much details as possible, contacted other people, and sort of went from there, really.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm glad I found it.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just curious, on the audit page, I see where you guys signed a document. Were there any other documents that you guys had to sign that they're not putting out there? Just out of curiosity.
No, nothing. Just the one document, like the NDA, which was mainly just covering the fact that we weren't allowed to disclose account sizes, that sort of stuff. The basic information that you wouldn't want other people knowing about yourself. I mean, there's people out there that share their accounts online all the time. But I mean, a lot of people, it's private information. So other than the NDA, no, everything, it was pretty much fair game. We could ask anything, really.
Nice.
And we haven't been told there's any other information we can't divulge to anyone.
Okay. And before we get into a little more about Yieldnodes, how were the other auditors? How did they seem? I mean, was everybody kind of into this thing?
Yeah, good. One of the young chaps, Josh from the UK as well. I'd not met him before. He's been in about another 6 months longer than I have. Clever chap. Good to chat to him. He's got some really good ideas, and he has some great questions. Then there was a lady, Angela, again from the UK. We were the 3 from the UK. She was sort of just starting out, hadn't been in it particularly long, hadn't really got into anything like this before. I think she was a little bit more wary than everyone else. She had some good questions, and I still talk to her now, still talk to both of them. And then there was a gentleman from, where was that, Germany. He had quite a large amount of people who he was involved with. He was a nice bloke though, and from the sounds of it, he's been in it from sort of day one, right from the beginning. So he was quite interesting to talk to as a sort of a long-term investor who'd been in it for a couple of years. So generally, I mean, everyone got on really well, and we stayed in the same hotel as well. So when the Yieldnodes people weren't around, we were all still sort of together having breakfast and stuff. So we was talking between ourselves as well, saying, well, what about this and what about that? So yeah, it was pretty good. Like I say, I felt pretty privileged to have been able to get out there, and I definitely would like to go back again and meet up with them. Yeah, if anyone gets the chance, it's a definite one you want to do. Yeah.
Cool. What was like the energy level? What was just the general vibe at the offices there?
Really positive.
Yeah.
You've got Andy and Dima and John and that, who are sort of more people like, yeah, they're more into sort of like interacting with people and whatever. And yours, like the main man, he's crazy clever. I mean, yeah, there's probably not many rooms he goes in where he's not the cleverest bloke. He's got so much information, and you can just tell in his head when you ask a question, he doesn't just give you a sort of a basic answer. He goes into detail into everything. He likes people to know everything they can know. He doesn't want people not having the information to make their own decisions. Very passionate about what he does. Yeah, I couldn't fault him really. He was brilliant.
Okay. Was it a big facility? Were there tons of people, or was this, specific number?
No, that's quite a small setup. You've got Steve sort of running things from where he lives, like office, sort of more office-based, interacting with investors. Then you've got Urs, who is basically running the show in Malta. It's a traditional Maltese house, sort of like 2-3-story house, which they've converted into offices. They've got like a function room, offices. There's a flat at the top. Yeah, and then I mean, we went into the main room. As far as I know, I mean, there's not any other facilities in Malta. It's just the one building. But yeah, nice, fairly small and compact, but yeah, beautiful place.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to dig into these statements. I've got the audit pulled up on the website, and I'm just going to read for a second and then kind of get your thoughts. So the audit itself, it mentions Stefan, CEO and partner, had a 10 to 15-minute video call with the auditors, logging into the admin area of Yieldnodes, showing the general balance of deposits plus compounds, withdrawals, and the numbers of active and registered users. The video call also covered how we work, how we see the history, how we can check what was deposited and when. No individual data was disclosed for privacy reasons except the account of the auditor on the video call. And then it says that Urs showed wallets, staking balances, the nodes it worked, how much capital is allocated to the various chains, the balancing, the tech, etc., in a transparent manner. And then it says, important, the auditors could calculate and confirm that the balances held in the Decenemy ecosystem match and exceed the amount necessary to cover deposits and compounded profits.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about this?
Yeah. Basically, I mean, all the auditors had a Skype call with Steve before going out there. So through his back office, he showed us basically the setup of how it's run. So we see wallets, we see amounts, that sort of stuff. So that was the first step. And then when we got out to Malta, we basically had a meeting with a large screen, and then that showed us all the live balances, which were actually exceeding what we'd seen before. It showed deposited amounts, what wallets had. Obviously, they don't keep everything in one wallet due to obviously safety and security. So I think there was 4 to 6 wallets. They showed us each wallet. They showed us the amounts. They showed us the overall amount of users, how much was deposited over that amount of users, how many people had actually signed up to an account, how many live accounts, and then we see all the final balances of each individual wallet, the total. Yeah, I mean they've got it covered more than enough of what everyone's got invested. But yeah, it was interesting, to be fair. Yeah.
So when it says the auditors could calculate and confirm, I mean, basically what you're doing is you're holding up, I guess, everything versus what they've got in, in their balances in the wallets and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just each individual wallet, compared to the overall balance, compared to the overall invested and compounded amount, just to see what the totals were, make sure they added up, make sure there was enough in the overall sort of balance sheets, more than what is actually invested and compounded. So
Okay.
yeah.
So, and I got to ask this, in this whole process, did you feel like there was anything underlying, any deception, anything where they were, they're trying to trick you guys or hide something?
No, not really.
Okay.
I would probably say the opposite. I felt as if they were really open, really forthcoming with information, specific information. I mean, a few people asked specific questions on things that we can't divulge because they were personal information on certain things. But people asked specific questions on certain stuff and got the answers. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with how much information we was given, actually.
Okay.
More than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And I can confirm I can't confirm amounts, but the accounts are healthy. And more than cover people's investments. Yeah.
How long were you guys there again?
We was there. I flew in on the Friday, flew out on the Monday.
Okay.
So again, a couple of others went on the Thursday, but yeah, I didn't get there till the Friday. So just pretty much the Saturday and Sunday. So like 2 days. Yeah.
And then you guys got to kind of visit the area, that sort of thing. I mean, it looks gorgeous there.
Yeah, they showed us round. I mean, we went out for dinner with them both nights. Sat and obviously spoke about stuff. Spoke about their vision as well for the future. Just masternoding in general, how it's done. I mean, a few people didn't really know what it was, how it was done, stuff like that, and they explained that sort of thing. I mean, there's a lot of information out there for people who don't know what it is and how it works. It's pretty easy to find out what it is and how it's done. But yeah, no, they were really good. Really looked after us. Nice.
So I assume, I mean, based on that your investments will continue with Yieldnodes, and I mean, it's just one of those things that's another part of your investment portfolio.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's.
I mean, to be fair, once I was quite happy with it before I went. When I actually got picked out, I was like, I'm in and I had work commitments and family commitments and that. And then I spoke to my wife and she was like, well, you might not get the chance again. So I decided to obviously go. And then I'll be honest, yeah, when I come back, I've invested more since I've been back because I'm more than happy to do so now. Now I've been there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying other people should do the same. It's everyone's own choice. But yeah, personally, I mean, I've invested more since going out there. Yeah.
Got it.
People that they've withdrawn from their noding balance into their withdrawable, like on like the 1st of the month, and then they go to withdraw it on like the 14th, 15th, or whatever, and you just think, leave it in there till the 14th, leave it till the 14th, move it then, so you get every last day of money, and then withdraw it on the 15th. And people, I don't know, they just don't seem to. They don't seem to pay attention.
Is that so? I don't know if you guys asked that while you were there, but does it make a difference if you wait to ask the withdrawal?
Yeah, you want to leave it in there as long as possible. Yeah, because if you withdraw it from your actual masternoded balance on, say, the 1st of January, you're going to miss 2 weeks of it being noded before you withdraw, because it won't withdraw until the 15th. So yeah, that is I mean, this is what I was told. Leave it in there till the 14th, always the 14th, if you're going to withdraw. Yeah, leave it in as long as you can, and then you get every last little bit. I know other people that have asked things like, well, why do they take so long to pay out? And you go, well, if you looked into master noding and that sort of thing, and why, you would know how much it takes to set it all up, and they need to know exactly what they've got to make it work. That's the reason. And then I know people go, oh, it must be a scam because you have to wait like 3-4 weeks or whatever to get paid, and it's just because they can't be asked to find out the reasons. It's crazy, really.
See, I think it'd be more scammy if they were able to just pay you immediately, like just send the money.
Yeah, because that's just like a Ponzi, isn't it? Where people are paying in and they're paying out little bits at the bottom. And I mean, I know people that have said about the referrals, and they're like, oh, you should get more from. And I'm like, if it was like 20% on referrals, I probably wouldn't be invested because I hate all that sort of stuff. Just like the multi-level mark, it's just horrible.
The single level to me is enough. It's like I don't need to get paid because this guy and this guy joined down here. I'm totally with you. And I haven't, I put that link in my YouTube videos, but I'm not pushing that. It's more like, we can all make money. We can all make our own money, with this if we're smart and we invest. I don't need a referral program to generate my income. What I want is a system that's passive that works.
That's it. Yeah. But there's some tasty accounts out there as well. I've seen some. Have you watched the Yieldnodes monitor?
Yes.
Yeah, like the $100,000 that he took out. Did you see that? Yeah.
I didn't see him take out 100, but I've seen his balance, and I'm like,
if you go back to, it might be back to like April, might be earlier. He actually does a live withdrawal where he takes $100,000 out, and then the next video shows the $100,000 being deposited into his account. Yeah, which I always find quite a good one because people are like, what are you going to do? You get a couple of grand at a time, and then you say to them, "Well, watch that," and that's like a live withdrawal of $100,000. That's insane. It just goes. I mean, I'm not being funny. Judging by the accounts I see, $100,000 is nothing really. I mean, there's some serious money invested in it. Serious money. I mean, it makes ours look insignificant, really. There's a lot.
That's so crazy to me.
There's some big sort of 7 figures floating around. I was quite shocked actually of how big the account was and how much was invested. I think there's something like 35,000 people signed up, or accounts signed up. There's only about 11,500 that are live. I think it's 11,500 or 12,000 that were actually live, which I thought was, I was surprised by that. But then when you see how much.
So 35,000 signups, which means, they may or may not have put money in. They've just signed up, and 11 something that actually have funds in there. Yeah,
actually live. Yeah.
Wow. That's a way smaller number than I thought.
That's the same here. Yeah. And then when I see the amount that's invested, and then you think, well, actually, if you divided that by the 30,000, that's a fair amount. But when you divide it by 11,500, it's that's what I'm saying. There's some big numbers floating around, which made my account feel a lot safer because I'm like, well, I'm not anywhere near the sort of the top accounts. Not by a long shot. So and there seems to be a lot of sort of pretty large business type people involved. From what I could gather from, especially like Germany, Austria, them sort of places, Switzerland, there seems to be some quite big investors. And I know they're looking to maybe move to Switzerland in the coming year or two to sort of try and set up there and become regulated. To actually move to Switzerland and become regulated, which I think if they do that, then it really is a long-term project. Because they've got a place in Portugal as well. But but from what I can work out, it's just some of the devs on the project, and apparently Portugal pay really bad wages for the work they do. So a lot of the Portuguese move abroad to work. So all they do is they give them the wage they would get abroad, but allow them to stay at home. So I think they've got 2 or 3 people in Portugal who work for them, who are apparently very good.
Wow.
Yeah, still quite a small team.
So, Liam, I mean, I think you've answered all the questions I had. I mean, this has been really cool to kind of peek behind the veil and get a first-person experience, or as close to it as we can get. I mean, any other thoughts on the program or things you want to say to everybody out there?
I don't know. The main thing I would say is if you're gonna join like the Yieldnodes sort of program, I would definitely spend some time on their website. I get a lot of people message me and stuff asking questions that are on the website, and the answers are there. If you're going to invest, you need to take sort of responsibility yourself and have a look at things first, because a lot of people just seem to take someone else's answers for gold, and you shouldn't do that. Look into it. There's loads of questions answered, especially on the like the facts part and the contact us part. There's loads of questions there. Have a good look around. If you're not sure, message the group direct. You can always email Steve. He's a busy man, but I mean, he will always get back to you. If there's things you're not sure about, I know people that have opened accounts with the minimum 500, and they've still messaged and got replies. It's not as if he's not interested because you're not putting large amounts in. Yeah, definitely look, do some research yourself, which I mean, it's the same with most investments, but
For sure.
quite a lot of people with Yieldnodes seem to just jump in without sort of asking questions. And I mean, all the answers are there. If you're not happy once you've seen all the answers, then that's up to you.
Yeah, good call. No, you're absolutely right. I agree. I think folks need to take the time and, between, like you said, the website and other pages, I think the Trustpilot reviews, things like that. I mean, there's a lot of good information, and you got to look at the good and the bad and make a determination based on, what you see, right?
I mean, I'll be honest. Since I've been in, I've put a lot of time researching it and looking into. Probably watched every YouTube you can find, any other sources I've looked into, and I'll be honest. I'm yet to find a lot of. Well, I'm yet to find hardly any. I think people saying, "Well," you get people saying, "Well, I didn't get. I've withdrawn money. Where is it?" And you say to them, "Well, look, if you read it, you withdraw by one day. It's paid on the." And they go, "Oh, I didn't know that." And you go, "Well, don't complain until you've read again. Go back to reading. You withdraw on one day, you get paid on another." I'm yet to know anyone who hasn't been paid the day they're supposed to be. And I know on deposits, your Bitcoin address, receive address is changed every time you deposit. I know a few people who didn't look at that and they just sent it to the old one, and they got in contact with Steve, and the money was found and moved across to their account. I mean, you can't really ask. You can't ask fairer than that, can you? But again, people not looking at it before they do it. But I mean, their money was found, retrieved, and put in their account. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good sign, if you ask me.
For sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Man, I tell you, this has been so good. It definitely has given me some insight. I feel good about the investment. Talking to you has just kind of solidified that. I understand it's risk, right? In any investment, there's risk.
There's always risk. Steve's pretty forthcoming with saying, look, there's no investment crypto-wise that hasn't got any risk. I just personally feel that the risk in this is pretty good compared to some other things that are out there.
Sure.
Yeah, they're pretty good in like they've said. They've given information out before saying if they hit less than 5% a month for 3 months solid, they'll give everyone a chance to close their accounts and withdraw all their money. I mean, things like that I've not heard of from other places.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident my money's safe with them. But then that's my personal opinion. I mean, like I say, there's plenty of info out there to make your own decisions, and stuff like what you're doing is hopefully only going to help people.
For sure. Liam, this has been great, man. I genuinely appreciate your time, and I appreciate you answering my questions. I wish you the best of luck with Yieldnodes. Yeah, I'm excited to see what this year holds.
No problem. Anytime.
All right.
Cheers. Thank you.
Hey, so this interview instilled a lot of confidence in me in the program. And it was so good to be able to talk again to someone that, got to look behind the scenes. He was not afraid to answer any of my questions. And just kind of an open book. So pretty cool. I mean, I'm excited again about Yieldnodes. I feel really good about it. And I think it's important to do your own research in this particular case, especially with investing. Do your own research. I am excited about this year with Yieldnodes. I do believe in it. I'm always cautious when it comes to investments, but I feel like this is a really sound one. Okay, guys, that wraps up this video for the middle of January 2022. As always, I have a challenge for you, and my challenge centers around the word homeostasis. Homeostasis is a big word, but basically in science, it kind of has a meaning that of equilibrium or resisting change. And to me, what that means is sometimes we get into a state of homeostasis where we're really comfortable and we don't want to change. And so my challenge for you is to fight back against the homeostasis in your life when it comes to specific things. And you know what that is. It's that thing that either you need to do that you haven't been doing and you've been putting off, or it's that thing that you are doing that you need to stop. You're in a comfort zone with whatever it is, and it could be a habit, it could be an investment decision, it could be a family decision, it could be a relationship that needs mending, and you just don't want to take the time because you're comfortable. Step out of your comfort zone with that one thing. Break that state of homeostasis and make a change in your life for the positive, right? So that's my challenge to you. Think about it and take action. That's when things happen. Again, it could be an investment decision, but it could also be something in your personal life or some other area of your life where you need to change in some positive way. All right. Have a great rest of the month. I'll see you at my next video. Talk to you soon.